everybody, what is going on? Hexlex here. Got another Master Duel video for you, coming at you with some games from the latest Duel trial, the Structure Deck event. I don't normally always play in these, but I actually found the deck building restrictions to be quite fun here, and I definitely had to show at least this game because for my first opponent, you may or may not recognize them. I actually ended up running into World's competitor Victor Lee during the Structure Deck event challenge, so I'll be showing my other games too, of course, but this game I decided to lead with Resonator Call just to see if they happen to open the one of Ash Blossom, since of course in addition to Structure Deck cards, you're also allowed to use one copy of each of the cards from the bundles as well. So I decided to build a red dragon deck, of course utilizing some of those staples as well. I'm going to show the deck list at the end of the video here, but pretty typical combo line for this event for red. It's actually very similar to the main combo line where we're going to go into red Rising Dragon using Soul Resonator into Bone Archfiend. Then we can make the Scarred Red Dragon Archfiend, which will then allow us to get some more Synchro monsters out. We can also use the Vision Resonator to start adding red spell or trap cards from deck to hand. Now, one thing that is important to note about our end board is that, of course, it's not going to have the Super Red Nova Dragon on it because it's not actually part of the Red Dragon structure deck. So instead, what we're going to be doing is ending on the Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss, which does act as a sort of like pseudo Omni Negate, negating any card on the field. And then we can also make the Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Bane. And then, of course, we can use Crimson Gaia in order to search out the red zone here. Note, though, that red zone, it doesn't seem to work while Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Bane is in play. I'm not sure why, what the ruling is here. So your opponent activates a card effect while you control Red Dragon Archfiend or a Synchro monster that mentions it. Hot Red Dragon Archfiend is a Synchro monster that mentions Red Dragon Archfiend, but for some reason, yeah, red zone would never proc for me. So I don't know, maybe there's something that I'm missing in the wording, like I've done Red Dragon combo lines before, but not having to end on this monster in particular, because, anyway. We can still set it along with the Fiendish Golem and then pass. So that's what my end board has been looking like for this Structure Deck event, is basically these two Synchro monsters, plus one of your spell or trap cards. Here we thankfully opened our one of Ash Blossom, so I can use that against the Chamber Dragonmaid without having to worry about, you know, using my Omni Negate right away. I'll let them do the Melody here because I'm not really worried about that at all. They're going to go for the alternative plus the Jet Dragon, and it's pretty clear to see that their plan here is to summon the alternative, destroy one of my cards, and then summon the Jet Dragon from hand. And I will say that Blue Eyes Jet Dragon may be one of the strongest standalone monsters in this event. This card, once online, is actually pretty hard to out, even if you're playing like regular ranked ladder. So for this Structure Deck event, there's not a lot that most decks can do once they have to deal with a Blue Eyes Jet Dragon that is actually on the board. But I'm going to use my Fiendish Golem on the Blue Eyes Alternative Dragon. That way I can banish it before it has a chance to activate its effect to destroy a card, right? Which would have procced the Jet Dragon. And we're going to take the dub, the victory, shortly after that. So yeah, you know, granted it is just a Structure Deck event. I would have definitely preferred to have tested my skills against World's competitors on regular ranked ladder. I have run into Quantal once or twice on ranked ladder before, but GG, Victor Lee. And of course, like I said, we do have some more games to show off here. Let's go into the next one. Okay, next game is going to be up against the Galaxy Loner. I was kind of bummed to see so many people using Loners for this event. It's like, this is like the budget event, right? Alongside the Legacy card event, which I didn't like nearly as much. So I was really hoping to see more people kind of like using their own brews. I mean, there's only so many decks you can put together, right? But yeah, it seemed like everybody was using Loners. Which I guess I don't super blame them, you know, for not wanting to build a deck that you're going to use for 3 duels. This is something that I've long had a beef with Konami about is, well, one of many things, is the fact that why is it that the tryout duels, the events that only last for like a few days and you only need to duel 3 times, why do those have the super interesting rule sets while the events are always just like, oh, it's Synchro NXCs and Link this time? You know what I mean? It's like, I mean, the real answer is that, you know, the more wide open the parameters of an event, the more you're able to use, you know, like the, whatever deck is in the shop. Basically, the longer events are designed to get you to buy cards from the shop, right? That's the real reason. I mean, you can still make interesting perimeters that include decks that are in the shop if you, I don't know, think a little bit, but it seems that Konami is just prefers to, yeah, I don't know, not do that. So yeah, once again, ending on these two Synchro Monsters. Open to the Solemn Judgment as well as the Ash Blossom this time. Got pretty lucky in that regard. I will say, one thing I'm not crazy about in this event is actually these bundle staples that are all in the game at one, or in this event at one. I'm actually not a fan of these at all because, like, and you're seeing it actually happen right now. The point I was about to make is that very often it feels like, or it felt like to me playing these games, whoever opened more of their bundle staples was just going to win the duel, right? That's kind of the vibe that I got. And I feel like, though, at the same time, that if that weren't the case, then whoever went first would just win. I mean, that's obviously true of regular ranked better as well, right? Whoever wins first is more likely to, or whoever goes first is more likely to win the duel overall, right? Here's me trying to use red zone again. It's not working for some reason. Again, really don't understand this, and somebody in the comments will probably explain. It'll probably be super obvious, but let me read this again. When your opponent activates a card or effect while you control Red Dragon Archfiend or a Synchro Monster that mentions it, target one card in the field, destroy it. I control a Synchro Monster that mentions Red Dragon Archfiend. No, it mentions a Red Dragon Archfiend monster. Ah, that's why it wasn't working. Hey, alright. Good to know. See, I knew if I just read a little bit more, not that I had read too much to begin with, Yu-Gi-Oh! Player and all that, I knew I'd be able to find the answer. Okay, so that explains why Red Zone wasn't working. So I probably should have tried to go for Fiendish Golem here instead. But, oh well. Anyway, yeah, I've got the Solemn Judgment here, and yeah, like I said, I mean, it really just does so often come down to who's got the, who's got more of the staple cards, or at least, I don't know. I say so often, I obviously only play like a literal handful of games in this event, but in those handful of games, it did felt like it kind of came down to the staple cards more often than not. Well, anyway, there's another dub for us. I got one more duel to show off. Let's finish off with that one. And finally, we're going to be playing against the Blue Eyes / Dragonmaid loner once again. I almost put together my own Blue Eyes / Dragonmaid list, but I felt that Red Dragon Archfiend was just going to be a stronger deck. I suspect Raid Raptor is actually probably the strongest deck in this event. It just comes down to like having to know how to play Raid Raptor, which I don't personally, but... And once again, we open Crimson Gaia, so we can go for the soul. There's actually a lot of consistency in this deck for, you know, what it is, right? With 3 Crimson Gaia, 3 Soul Resonator, 3 Resonator Call, we have a ton of different starters for our board in this deck. I remember this was actually the first duel that I played, because I make a pretty big misplay here, doing the combo line. Oh, no, sorry. I'm thinking of the wrong game. I lost that game. Yeah, there was one game where I went straight into Red Dragon Archfiend instead of the Scarred first, and I was like, hello? Why did you do that, Lex? Anyway, here they are going to nib us, which is definitely unfortunate, but we also have the triple tack in hand. Alright, so let's take a peek under the hood and see what they've got. Alright, so I'm looking at my opponent's hand here, right? I see Sage, I see Chamber Dragonmaid, I see Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon, and then Dragon Shrine. So, my first instinct was, oh, Sage, that's a 1-card starter. And then I remembered, wait, this is a structure deck event. No Maiden in White, no True Light, none of that stuff. So, this really does not have anything super scary to add at all. In that regard, I decided the Chamber Dragonmaid would be the best thing to put back here. Keep them off the Dragonmaid tiding, keep them off Dragonmaid stuff in general, right? And I know, and they even conceded right away, because I knew their Blue Eyes stuff alone wasn't going to do it, wasn't going to cut it, right? I think at best they might have been able to summon Blue Eyes Alternative Dragon, which, yeah, would have popped my token and dealt 3k to me, but then I have full follow-up plays in my hand. Like, I'm just going to crack back with full combo, and then I know that I can put out way more than they can. And because I added another copy of Crimson Gaia and the Vision Resonator, I think that they also kind of knew that I was going to really just come in and mess up their stuff on my follow-up turn there. So, but again, I felt like that game kind of came down to, like, they had Nib, and if I didn't have triple tack, I would have just been completely screwed there. So On both sides, once again, it kind of felt like it came down to who had the staple cards. But anyway, let me show you the deck list before we end off the video here. Okay, so here is my deck list for Structure Decks Unite. I basically started by taking what a quote-unquote real, or like, you know, on ranked ladder, red dragon deck would look like, and then I started by including all the cards that were in the structure deck, and then filling in the gaps afterward. Of course, a lot of the gaps were filled by all of these limited staple cards from each of the bundles. I even played Lightning Storm, because there's kind of no reason not to, right? Like, you know, you might as well have it in case you go second. But for some of the other cards that I put in to fill in the gaps, Red Lotus King and Wandering King Wildwind are actually not that bad at all. Particularly Red Lotus King is pretty good if you lead with the Soul Resonator and they use like their one of Ash Blossom Veiler or Imperm on it. You could special this and then still go into Red Rising while then also getting to start, you know, sending trap cards from your deck to the graveyard. Although to be fair, you wouldn't really have too much to be able to go into after that, but it's still better than nothing. The Wild Wind, of course, can also act as an extender if you have a Resonator tuner. As mentioned before, this deck has a lot of starters, right? We have the Soul Resonators, we have the Resonator Call, and the Crimson Gaia to search them. And Bone Archfiend, I'm trying to remember if this is a starter? No, because it doesn't actually get you into the Soul Resonator by itself. Okay, yeah. Although, you could use Bone Archfiend. No, it is a starter, right? Because you use Bone Archfiend to send Vision, add Crimson, then you normal summon Soul Resonator. So yeah, that is actually a starter. So we do actually have 12 starters in our deck to end on those two Synchro monsters, the Omni Negate Hot Red Dragon Archfiend, and then the Red Dragon Archfiend Bane, which doesn't have a quick effect. It's basically just a big body. But so yeah, like I said, for the most part, after that, it was just filling in the holes a little bit with cards I thought would be good. A second copy of Crimson Resonator in case I open it, so I can still combo if I do open it. Fiendish Chains to act as like pseudo imperms. Obviously, it can't be used from hand, but at the very least are useful going first. And then the Fiendish Golems as well, which actually ended up being hugely useful since the Red Zone wasn't as useful as I hoped it would be. Also, Red Rain never came up for me, but this card is pretty good in red decks in general, and definitely would have been a good target to send off the Red Lotus King had I summoned that at any point. But extra deck is mostly what you'd expect to see, just like all of the, you know, multiple copies of important stuff that you need for the Red Dragon deck. One of each of the big boss monsters. Spheres is a good, just generic link monster to be able to go into if you need to go Spheres pass. To be fair, a lot of this stuff does lock you into Dark, so there's not really much of an opportunity to summon this on turn 1, but locks you into Dark Synchros, I should say. But it's still nice to have an option. Speaking of options, we have Quibelt, as well as Enlightenment Paladin. This is a generic level 8 synchro. I don't think it's better than going into like Scarred Red Dragon Archfiend most of the time, but I don't know, you never know. There could be a niche scenario where the last effect here comes up. And then, on the off chance I played against zombies, I actually did include Red Eye Zombie Necro Dragon because it is generic, and you know, if I were to use this battle over their zombie, I could start bringing their stuff back from their graveyard to my field. But I didn't encounter zombies at all, so. Alright, that is my build for the Structure Decks Unite event. And overall, like I said, I think that the deck building parameters were interesting in theory. I think in practice, though, one, I think even more so than regular ranked ladder, this is very much a whoever goes first is going to win format. And two, I really do think that a lot of these games are decided by the one-of bundle staple cards, which did kind of, I don't know, make the format a little bit less interesting to me. But I do think it was still a lot more interesting than a lot of the events that we typically get for, you know, the longer festival. But definitely let me know what you think in the comments below. Either way, thank you so very much for watching. Hugely appreciate your support. And let's go ahead and move on now to the outro. Hey everybody, Hexlex here. Thank you so very much for watching all the way to the very end of the video, which by the way is one of the best ways to support the channel. Speaking of supporting the channel, take a look at the names on screen. These are folks who have been so generous as to either join as a YouTube member or subscribe over on patreon.com/Hexlex to support. There's also perks for doing so. If you would like to see YouTube videos early, as well as some exclusive videos that get uploaded to YouTube, but for one reason or another I decide not to publish, definitely go go ahead and hit that join button to see content early, as well as some exclusive content. If you're looking for more exclusive content, over on patreon.com, I upload exclusive videos that are not posted on YouTube just about every single day. Whether you choose to subscribe over on Patreon, join as a YouTube member, or simply continue to watch, your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you so very much. But for now, this is Hexlex. I am signing out, and I hope that you have a fantastic day.